One of the easiest niches for you to start selling AI services right now is the pet daycare and boarding. And in this video, I will explain why this specific niche, we're gonna compare it with other most popular niches. I'm gonna explain what specifically you're gonna sell, how you're gonna sell it, how you're gonna get the clients, and the numbers that you can expect. Because we are going to service pet grooming and boarding companies, I feel it is very important for you to understand why this niche is a great niche for you to build the business in. The market is huge, 15 billions. It is growing year over year, not in the US, but in the entire world. Obviously, there are a lot of pets around us. Even in the US, it's 94 million households that own at least one pet. It is very fragmented plus seasonal. It means that there are a lot of the independent parties and operators that you can sell your service to, from the bigger companies to the smaller moms and pops that would require something like that, and clear pricing anchors. It means that across the board, for example, in the US, the typical daycare pricing is $35 to $51 for the boarding, 30 to 50 for the night grooming, 40 to 75. When you're gonna get 1, 2, 3 businesses, you're gonna deliver them the monetary value. When you come to another business B, you are gonna say that these are the numbers that they can expect, because across the board within the location that you are operating, most of them charge similar prices. So now you have your marginal cost and you have the monetary value that you can potentially deliver to the client, and you can present it in a way that will be very understandable for the business owner. Now, let's compare it with, let's say, med spas, which is a huge niche, and specifically a huge niche for AI service providers like us. Inquiry frequency and urgency. Med spas clients book once every few weeks or month, but facial inquiries aren't as time sensitive. For the pet daycare and boarding, businesses are usually getting flooded with the messages daily, and not only that, the people, aka the clients, are requesting for the spots next day because, for example, they are leaving on the holiday and they need to put the pet somewhere if they haven't planned for that. It means that you have a leverage to integrate something in the operational space that will help the business to navigate through all of these inquiries in the more efficient way to increase the customer service satisfaction. Capacity management. For the med spas, appointment slots can be moved fairly flexibly and cancellations can be refilled slowly. But for the pet daycare and boarding, 50 canals or daycare spots are a hard cap. Now, of course, it is just an example. It could be 100 or 20, but one empty run for a weekend is gone forever. So here, the AI can autofill the spots from the waitlist in minutes, of course, first contacting the customer. Now, we're gonna talk about the solutions later in the video. Multi-service cross-sells. For the med spas, you might upsell different treatments during a visit, which is a very common practice, but it's often discussed with person with a specific tag after the user did something. For the pet daycare, the AI can offer additional services like grooming or extra playtime at the specific book time that has been already chosen, with no extra work for the staff within the facility, and the owner has already pets in there. Operational load. Med spas usually receive inquiries about bookings, reschedulings, treatment questions, aka Q&As, some pre-care and post-care guidelines. Now, of course, there are a lot of the use cases where AI can help the med spas on the operational side, but we are here comparing the two niches. So if you're thinking about the pet daycare onboarding, multiple daily ops touches per booking are needed during one procedure. So vaccines, record request, you're not handling the medical records, you're just requesting it. Feeding instruction, pickup window changes, early drop-offs, add-ons, payment links, and follow-ups. Very important to integrate it really, really well with the backend backend operational system that they are using, and we're going to talk about this a bit later. And finally, customer behavior. You might know that a lot of the pet owners love their pets more than they love themselves. That is why you can see the exponential growth within the pet industry, from the e-com to the food to the actual services, because people are more likely to spend money on something they love more, which are their pets. And on top of that, the pet owners are more likely to research something before buying because they want to get something the best at the best price. So for the Mats Bus, clients plan their appointments, often recurring with the same provider, so they're less shopping around. But the pet daycare and boarding, it is a bit different, because owners not only trying different facilities before choosing the long-term one, they also contact a lot of them before the actual booking. So the customer experience, and especially the speed to lead, is the main competitive advantage. I know this firsthand because I have been in the pet industry for over 7 years now. I sold a company where we have been selling soft chews and supplements for dogs on Amazon, Walmart, and Etsy. So I've been in this space. We were also partnering with physical facilities for donations as well as distributions. So I know how they work. And after I started the AI agency and was trying to target these companies, of course, that was one of my competitive advantages that I used to work within the industry. And I also saw how different the customer experience and journey is compared to the human service facilities. Now let's talk about what you are going to sell specifically. Basically, these are the agents that will do the AI customer care and operations. Specifically, first, booking and cancellations. Hold spots instantly, enforces deposits, backfill cancellations from the live waitlist, which is huge for this industry. Second, document chase with no medical review. Basically, requesting different documents from clients to make sure they provided either before or after the visit. Now, you do not want to deal with all the compliance that is related to storing or reviewing that documentation. That is why you would work hand in hand with the actual human, operators within the facility that will check if the document is correct or not, then mark it within the CRM, and if the information is still needed, AI will facilitate the conversation to get all these things. 3, intake and rules. Basically providing all the information that the customer needs to know before bringing the pet. Now, once we started to work with the facility that I'm gonna share next, I was very surprised to learn that they decline about 5% of the intakes from the appointments because the clients haven't done one of these things, and it hits their pockets really badly. Calendar yield, not just tomorrow's unconfirmed bookings, which should be always confirmed because you're booking the space is limited, there's a waiting list, so if they are not confirming and they don't show up, the business is losing revenue. Reduces no-shows and rebooks open runs automatically. Basically, you are going to create a system based on the wait list. This could be the Google Sheet or the Airtable. So when the appointment is not confirmed before 24 hours before the appointment, you're gonna cancel that, get this, find it in the CRM, and reach out to the customer to make him fill the slot. Change management, handle last minute time changes and late pickups, early drop-offs, and waitlist move related to something that we discussed above. Cross-sell, same visit, often grooming while the dog is already in the daycare, confirm price time. Now, this is more related to the boarding. If they actually keep the animal for multiple days throughout this period, AI can reach out to the holder to offer additional things. Now, it is actually very easy to do even if you are using a default CRM, because you are going to have the window for the open and close. Within this window, you can program the automation to reach out to the customers and offer the additional things. And the last one is the channel coverage, which is very important. Answer phone to text, SMS, WhatsApp, which is not super relevant for the US, web chat, Instagram, and Facebook, which are huge for this businesses. So you're gonna have the AI operational managers and the customer care agents who are handling all of these channels at once with one knowledge base, with one unified memory across all the different channels. Here are some of the misconceptions that I see people have about this specific niche. It involves medical data and AI cannot handle that, or you would need to have a very compliance oriented solution, which is of course the case, but it really depends on the business that you're working with and how you're connecting to their system. For example, I told you that this is like specifically the screenshot from the high level that we're using for one of our clients where the AI agent is connected. So here we never review or interrupt medical records. The owner uploads the file and stuff verified later. So here you can see that, hey, for sure, can you please, so there was like a conversation here. Now we are sending the dynamic link where the people can upload the docs, which is, basically a portal on the website, as well as, asking them to approve, like to send it directly. Now, then they are sending this doc. AI doesn't have the ability to review this doc. Now, we could add this as a function, but we haven't because it's going to be, harder on the compliance side. So here we see that the user uploaded something. Now we are requesting some more information. Of course, this can be something random and not related to the doc that we have requested, which is fine. Usually it happens in 15 to 20% of the cases where the clients are sending something that is not related to the docs that we requested, which is fine. They would send it anyways. So now the human rep can, review that and do the human handoff where it's going to start talking with the person through the interface and the AI will be paused. Calendar integration is going to be a nightmare, which is a huge point for working with the MatsBus as well as aesthetic clinics. Now, you know that we are actively working with aesthetic clinics and we are running the ads for this niche for, the one prompt done for you services. But within the pet daycare, they're still very analog, using paper calendars or spreadsheets or just Google calendars. It means that you have a great possibility of upselling a CRM plus the booking calendar from scratch or integrating it within your own services. Now, they often, if they would use the tool, they would use something like Ginger, Paul Partners, Canal Booker and stuff like that, which do have the APIs. But to make it even easier, because these are kind of niche services, they are simplifying the work, and most of them, at least, Ginger has the integration with the Google Calendar, which is the direct two-way sync. So when we are verifying the slots, everything is within the Google Calendar, and the Google Calendar is connected to the interface that we're using for the customer. That is why here, which is the high-level interface that we're using for, this specific customer, you can see these are the appointments and the visits that have been scheduled, but were scheduled through the Ginger, but have been synced with the high-level interface because high-level is connected to the Google Calendar. The third misconception is that people won't talk to AI about their pets. Now, I told you that no one loves talking to the AI, and if we're coming from the perspective that owners love their pets more than they love themselves, they surely want to talk with someone who will 100% take care of their inquiry. And what you need to understand is that we are building the agents, and you would have to do that mimic 100% human behavior. So basically, you are faking that someone is behind the screen. This is the first prerequisite. The second one is you need to have a very, very smart human handoff block feature or flow, meaning that you really want to specify the type of the inquiries and scenarios that you do not want AI to handle, to not interrupt the flow of the conversation. If we're going back to this specific example where we've been requesting the doc, the user said something, then we know that this is just one file. We're requesting the more information here. Now, this could be a joint file, and the user, I can't remember, he probably, sent something afterwards, but he could say, yeah, I actually already sent it above. Then we're stopping this conversation. Or if the user did send something after this message, we stop it anyways, then do the human handoff notification where the real person will review the thing, because this is needed when you are mimicking human behavior. You do not want to continue the conversation and getting more information until this information has been verified. And the fourth misconception is our staff already handles this just fine, and they are not going to be paying for the AI operational manager. Staff busy with animals, grooming, cleaning, in-person events. AI handles, inbox, phone calls 24/7. But these are actually the bad points, and you should not present this solution to the business as is, because businesses care about the money. And the good thing is that going back into the numbers across the board within the country that you're operating, or if you're operating within the US, especially within a specific state, they will all have very similar prices. So you can try to articulate the value that this AI brings X amount of clients every month, or by saving X amount of rooms. This is, by the way, one of the offers that we've been personally running, where we've been saying that we have, this AI agent that actually fills out 70% of the empty slots that have been canceled on the late cancellation notices. This is directly correlated with the capacity management that we discussed, because the early cancellation notices are huge, and the unfortunate thing is that they have the wait list, and usually they have the people that would be able to fill the slot, but because there is a discrepancy within the time, it's usually very, very hard to do. But here you can see that we are not only doing that, but we also handle the repetitive questions that they are getting asked every day, like, yes, we have space for the next Friday 50 times a week. So now let's talk about something very important, which is the offer. It could be something like increase your margins by X% by hiring our $1 per hour AI pad crew member, which is some fancy words of saying it's going to be the AI that will refill all of your late cancellation bookings, or will help you to increase the satisfaction rate of your customers. That will increase then the retention rate. Now, you can play around with the positioning and with the specific metrics that you are going to track. Basically, 10-day free trial period that you are going to offer. It means that you're developing this solution first, you are integrating it to their channels. Now, it could be on the trial where it handles only a portion of the inquiries or a specific inquiries, and more than 90% of the volume will go to the actual humans. You show the results, then you get paid, you don't have the refunds, and the churn will be very, very low. So how you're gonna get the clients and how you're gonna find them on the marketplace. You will not do the cold DMs, cold emails, or cold calls. Forget about these. I'll explain. Cold DMs are not relevant because most of these businesses do have Instagram accounts and Facebook accounts, but they are having them just for the sake of discoverability. Plus, the customers are reviewing the different options. Of course, they want to see, the photos from the Instagram, but usually they're not active there. They receive a lot of the spam from the brand owners like I was, that was like doing the same thing. So we've been spamming the inboxes of different facilities to sponsor them, to actually donate them money if they didn't have this this option on the website, as well as to ask them if they're willing to distribute our products. So their inboxes are getting flooded, and it's going to be very hard for you to get noticed. Cold emails, which not super relevant. This is not a B2B business. They're not using emails too much. They will have a customer support email or the general inquiries email that will be handled by the receptionist as well as the call. So it's going to be harder to find the decision maker. So these are the two good options that you're going to use. First, events. Now, hear me out. Of course, it's not going to be applied to 95% of them, but 99% of you not going to, build this business anyways. So I'm talking to the 1% who is willing to invest the time and money into this venture, because I'm telling you, this is a huge niche that you can build a very, very sustainable and big business in. So if you are located in a specific location that hosts expos or conferences for this type of the businesses, this is the only thing that you need. Now, going back to the US, based example, there's, a pet boarding daycare expo on the East and West. There are, I think 2 per year. So the next one is November 12 to 13. Now, it is literally the biggest gathering of pet boarding daycare owners in the US. And you will probably be one of the only guys who's going to be talking about the AI, but you are not going to put it on the angle that like you're selling AI. You're just a friendly guy who is showing how to keep every canal full without stuff, which is exactly why they attended. They are looking for a better ways to run the business. Now, as an extra tip, offer lost revenue audit on site estimate last year, missed booking and no shows. I'm giving you this tip because it was used by one of our One Prompt license holders last week. It was beginning of August. So he attended in the UK the conference for the real estate brokers, and he was offering them a free audits, and there was a line to get his card. This is the reality, because even though we are in the space, we're always talking about it, and it seems that everyone is doing that. Guys, this specific niche is huge. No one is targeting them, and you can build a very robust solutions inside. So even if you get their attention somehow, then through the phone, through the digital communication, you will be able to figure out the offer that they are going to buy, even if it's going to be customized to their specific needs when you're starting out. Regional Pet Association conferences. Now, again, if your specific location hosts them, it's going to be really good. These are, smaller events, but very targeted to, this specific services. What you also need to understand is that you're planning to start, developing your business within the industry, you can partner up with the hosts of these conferences and with the association members to then, present your kind of solutions, because you're not just selling them. You're like basically educating these business owners who are stuck in their old school ways of running the business, going back into them having no basically integration with the digital world, and you're helping them to understand how this new way can really help. The second option for you to get the clients in the industry is the paid ads. Now, you would prioritize static ads over video. Now, I started to talk about the ads approach of getting the clients for the AI services on this channel a lot. And the reason for that is because we started to invest a huge amount of money there. We've been already investing, but we started to see the results. That's why I'm pushing. I see the numbers, the math works. You just need to understand the specific offer and figure out the good creatives. Now, the static ads in general in 2025 right now for the service-based businesses, not necessarily in the AI, is great, but sometimes the video's performing a bit better, so we are always testing, and you can do it too. I was not comfortable for this specific service to actually run the ad myself. Maybe this is why it haven't performed that well. We've been using the HeyGen, like this specific avatar, which is the very default one. It was like a woman sitting in front of the screen saying that, yeah, we have the AI tool that will help you to decrease the actual, lead booking cancellations within your canal facility. Now, it was performing poorly. If you have an animal, like a pet, right? Preferably a dog. I was thinking about recording multiple videos with a pet on my lap, like recording something like that will trigger the people who are dealing with the pets right away. They're gonna be sticking with you for a while, listening to what you're saying while like watching your pet. If you can go to the actual facility and somehow record it from there, it's gonna be easier. But again, this is more hassle. So if you're starting out, I would say focus on the static ones. And here is one of the ads that we've been running. It's basically very, very simple. It's just the actual photo from the Pinterest. You're like, whatever, you can write like canal like photos on iPhone, something like that. And then there's like, this AI sales app keeps my canal like full 26 days in a month. Again, you can see that we're playing around with this late notice cancellation problem that they always have. Here is the video. And then it was basically a double opt-in funnel. So let's talk about the math. The double opt-in funnel, meaning that they are landing on the page which has a GIF and the form saying that, hey, this is the video that will help you to understand how your pet grooming business can decrease the late cancellation rate. Please input the information here. They're inputting the information, they're watching the video, and then there is a booking page. So here is the math. You're gonna have $30 per qualified opt-in, which is higher compared to other industries where we see 5 to 15% per opt-in. Qualified meaning that this is a person who is somehow related to this specific industry. Now you have two options. If you are more passive, you're probably gonna get $300 per booking. Means that if you have the double opt-in page, you're not gonna do anything. It's just people will land to this page, will watch the video, and then will book an appointment. Usually 1 out of 10 or 15 people will book. So if you're having the $30 per opt-in price, you're gonna have $300 to, maybe like $450 per booking, which is high. Now you want to be proactive, and proactive meaning that the reason why we're using the opt-in, because you're gonna contact them at the same minute once they fill out the form, trying to, sell your services and get more information from them. Here you can target the $200 per booking. So 20% will be your close rate for the trials. So you're gonna have 10 calls and you're gonna close 2 people for the trial. 50% trial to a client, which is pretty standard. So now you've probably spent about $1,000 to get 1 client. 25% yearly churn and 0% refund rate because you have done the trial already. Now, this is where the value comes in, because you are delivering the constant value and you will be able to charge them on a monthly basis. So you ideally self-liquidate the cost that you spend to acquire the client. And if you're presenting your solution as a $1 per hour employee, that is going to be like about $720 a month. This is where the value comes from. Now, what I noticed is, of course, most of these businesses are not willing to pay more than $1,000 for something like that. Even if it does increase the actual, bookings, they might want to spend more. But once they see the results themselves for a few quarters, that is why you can target the $300 to $500 range of charging, and you're gonna have 100 clients in 1 year, and this is the 50K RR business. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. Thanks for watching. Peace.